I'll have to do it. That's good. Just need,
Make me big, please. Not that I'm very big, but
yeah, that's all.
the screen, make it full screen. There we go.
There's like files. and stuff.
Thank you. You're welcome. Great. Monty, you can.
Yep, we're good. We're good.
All right. Let's see here. Let's look at my ball spot.
That's why I'm not there.
Get to do that. All right, well, it's 2 o'clock and well, 1:59 to be exact on that clock and 2 o'clock on my watch. We had a meeting at 2. Is it okay if I start?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So we're going to talk about some advertising today. And I think in some ways we can do this class in about 30 seconds. But we're going to get into a few more specifics. But in the end, just make sure that somewhere on any of your advertising, it says KW Platinum. You know, that's really what it needs to be. What the commission is looking for is they want to be able to find you. Oh, I thought it was my daughter. They want to be able to find you if something goes sideways or something goes wrong. They want to be able to look at whatever you've got out there, whatever advertising you have. They want to look at that and go, all right, this is Diana Campos. All right, she's part of Keller Williams Platinum. I can now call, look up and find out who the BIC is for Keller Williams Platinum, and then give them a call and say, you know what, I just wanted to call you to tell you that your agent's doing an outstanding job. No, I can't say I've ever gotten that phone call yet. I hope maybe someday they will, but that's what they're looking for. And they want the public in particular is who the one is going to be that's going to say something, right? They want to be able to find you and be able to call whoever it is that is in charge, and that's the broker in charge of that firm. So what does that apply to? That applies to everything: your business cards, your signage, your social media accounts, flyers. I mean, you name it, anything that you're doing to advertise any type of realtor services, then you need to have on there who you work for. Even when you're just looking for business, you know, if you post a thing on Facebook of just like what's your house worth, somewhere on there you need to say that that you're a realtor and that you're working with Keller Williams Platinum.
Can I make an observation?
Sure.
So the logo that we have with Keller Williams Platinum is a rectangle, right? A lot of the times when we wanted to put it into any type of a whatever software, sometimes we only can do it like in a square. And so I'm always like, how do you fit this into this? So I don't know if anybody had that issue, but I run into that.
If you go into designs on command, I think they have some different ways in there that you can take that and move that around. You can pull the logo in and you can change it. The only thing that they're really looking for is that you use the Keller Williams colors, and for the most part, you can have it any block style that you want. The biggest thing here is that for that type of a thing, I think there we're talking about I'll call it like a marketing piece and not really the advertising of it. But Diana, however you want to do that, go ahead and do it as long as it says Keller Williams Platinum Realty, whatever the thing says, you're going to be fine. It's when you go in there and now all of a sudden you change the colors to like a green or something along those lines. That's when maybe international would get involved and they'd be like, hey, those aren't our Keller Williams colors. But as far as the commission's concerned and everything, they don't care. That's not something that they really are concerned about. And when our business cards and our signs, one of the things that we always have on there is that each office is independently owned and operated. That is something else that we need to have on there because we are a franchise, and that's of course for legal ramifications that people can't go back and try to, which they do anyway, but go and sue KWRI. They want to try to keep it, you know, basically where it's at. And that's significant then when talking to people, because of course internationally say, well, we didn't say that. That didn't come from us. That came from the local firm. And so even though there's 7 Keller Williams that are in the Raleigh area, everyone is individually owned and operated. And so each one has a little bit different flavor to it and things along those lines. And of course, we all have, like, we're platinum. One is Legacy, another one is Premier. They all have their names there to them, but we're like one of like 7 platinums within the Keller Williams system. I know there's a KW Platinum in Oklahoma City, you know, so that would be out there. But this one here, in this case here, is just to protect you. One of the things, I don't know if anybody's part of JCAR. Who's part of JCAR in here? Did you get that email about the Article 12 of the ethics thing about advertising? You didn't get that email, or you didn't?
Probably did.
Yeah, look at it.
They sent me to my personal email with confirmation.
Okay,
Yeah, they do that to me, and I changed it, and they send those into my personal, so I'm like, why? I should.
So, they sent that out here like right after the first of the year. And so I wrote back and said, are you telling me that we did something wrong?
What did they say? I'm sorry.
Your Article 12, it's about advertising, about making sure that you're telling people, it's part of the ethics thing that you had. So to me, they're setting us up. They're letting us know that you need to make sure that you're looking at what your advertising is, because we're about to come and start cracking down on you.
Was this like for our office or like in general?
In general,
Okay.
it wasn't in general. So I think that's the shot across the bow, because if you notice, I posted the other day because I was going through like some Facebook posts. It wasn't ours, but I seen a lot of posts out there that I couldn't tell if they were real estate agents or not. There's a lot of people posting pictures of homes. And of course, they've got a price with it, but they're not telling you who the listing is provided by and whether or not they're a real estate agent or what firm they're with. The other thing is too, is that that's something you need to do. If you post a house on Facebook or Instagram or wherever it is, listing provided by, and whoever it's provided by. You don't have to give the real estate name, you just need to give the firm name. So if it's Caldwell Banker, you got permission, you know, to do that. It's Caldwell Banker, HPW. And then of course, down some places it needs to say, in this case here, you know, Taylor Stankovich, you know, KW Platinum. Your name's got to be in there someplace as well, so that they know that it's you. Now, a lot of people put that, a lot of people will put that in their Facebook name, you know, that, hey, Brian Schrepfer, Realtor, KW Platinum. So that way, when they advertise, their name is always there and nobody can say that I didn't know. Now, I've seen a lot of people taking like, trying to think of the app that TMLS has, and they'll take a picture of that and put it on there, or they use the link.
Oh, HubSpot.
Yes, but there's still, it doesn't tell you in that page like who that ad is from. It just says like HomeSpot or blah, blah, blah. There's no one click. What I mean by that is that the commission doesn't care. It used to be that there was kind of a rule that was out there that if they could find out who you were in one click, then they were okay with it. They took that away a long time ago. They said, no, there's no more one click. Your name has to be on that front page that everybody can see.
But that's what they're providing.
They're not, commission's not providing that.
A home spotter,
Yeah, that's just a private thing.
but it comes through them, like they give us that.
Diana, I'm not arguing with you. They're
Yeah.
providing it. I'm just telling you what the commission is saying that you need to have. Just because the TMLS provides it, 2 separate people, right? And they're providing a service to you, but you have to make sure that you're in compliance with the advertising. So if you're using that, just put in description, you know, listing provided by, and then whatever your name is. Or like I said, change your name up there and just add the fact that you're a realtor at KW Platinum and you've got yourself covered. But there's too many blind ads out there right now. Everybody's gotten really lazy with the internet part of this. The second, or with social media, the second part of the social media thing is that you have to keep all of your advertising. So if you make a post on social media, take a screenshot, do whatever with it, and put it into a folder that you have on your computer for advertising. I know it's a pain, but they can come back at any time and ask you for all your advertising. Now, why do you think the commission would do that?
Your pattern, your consistency.
Yep, exactly. So if all of a sudden one got out there and somehow you got turned in and they came to look at it and they go, well, you know what, Wendy she had, 100 of these things and 99 of them, she had everything listed on there. Here's one that obviously she just forgot. Right? Now, if they come and they ask for all of your advertising and you go, well, it's online. And then they've got to try to go through and pull it all out and things along those lines. How do you think they're gonna look at you?
Aggravated.
Yeah. So, keep a copy of that. My high D in particular, when I was told that, it was like, you gotta be kidding me, right? But really, it's not that difficult to take a screenshot and just save that photo into a folder. That's all they're asking. And that goes for anything that you're doing. I mean, if you're going across multiple medias, especially if it's gonna be different, then you gotta keep a thing of that. But if you're doing the same thing on Instagram, that you're doing on Facebook, that you're doing on TikTok, that you're doing, you just need to basically have one of those. It's when you change it. Right? Is that, go ahead.
So just for clarification, for the social media posts, they have to also have each office independently owned, so
No.
legal, okay, that just.
Now, here's the thing, if you advertise through Command,
Mhm.
if you go through and do advertisement through that, like through they do that automatically for you. There's a little box that you can click and it puts it down there in really small letters. They do that for you. The biggest thing that they're looking for from us is gonna be who the listing is from, and then who are you and who do you work for? Now, here's the thing, is that you work for Keller Williams Platinum, right? And so who are the listings with? They are with Keller Williams Platinum. So technically you can advertise any listing that is from one of the other agents in the office. There's nothing they can really do to stop you because we own it. And I'm telling you that you can do that. Now, what I would ask is that you just give them a little heads up. I don't think I've heard anybody say no. I think you've done it before, right? Wendy, I think you've done it as well. Just call them up and just say, hey, Tammy, I see you got this house available out here. I would love to advertise it. Is that okay? Yeah, exactly. What do they say? Absolutely. Do whatever you can, do it, and as a matter of fact, if you just go online a lot of times and ask, hey, I'd love to advertise a house. Who's got one? You'll get 3 or 4 people that have a listing, go use mine, here's the address. And they'll tell you to go out and do it, because what's their job? Their job is to sell the house, and so the more eyes they can get on it, the better. I can tell you that 8 years ago, when this was first kind of coming out and first starting, there was a lot of people who were against it. Because they were like, oh no, I'm doing the advertising. I don't want you to do it.
I have people saying no.
No.
From other firms,
Yeah, from other firms, yeah.
right, and I'm just saying, no problem.
Yes.
I'm just gonna put you on my list, I will never.
And they have that right from other firms. You're right, but I think it's dumb from another firm too, because I'm getting out to all my people for you to try to get somebody there. You may have somebody just show up from looking at my post, but that's neither here nor there. But again, you can do that also, like Diana just said, you can ask other people from other firms, you see a house, go and ask them. Most of the people will say yes, though.
Yeah.
It's probably like a 70% for sure.
Or more.
Yeah. But ask and then go and do that. All right. So what about videos? It's advertising, right? So somewhere on there or in the video, I think it's kind of odd for you to go, hi, my name is Taylor Stankovich from Keller Williams Platinum. You can say that if it fits right into it, or at the end that you're going, oh, by the way, listing provided by, and things along those lines. Just put it in the description someplace. Open house this weekend, 2 to 4. Come check out this wonderful 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. Listing provided by, at the bottom of that, you can put that in there. You just, again, need to list it. I don't think you need to put it in the video itself, just somewhere, or if you do, just make sure it's there. But again, if it's in the video, then you got to keep a copy of the video. And so then that gets kind of big. So, or in the end, if you just, again, you can take a screenshot of the thing itself, and it's already posted, and you can put that, hey, this was the video that I did on, 125, for my open house, and it's listed right there. What questions do you have?
We just need to get more listings. That's it.
I like her thinking. We do need to get more listings.
We need more listings.
Yeah, more listings. All right, let me think to hear some of the questions that.
If it's your listing,
Yeah,
just clarifying, we don't have to put courtesy, as long as we're on there.
you should put that it's a listing from KW Platinum.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't have to be like redundant with it.
Correct. Yeah, what if it's your listing and you're advertising it? Yeah, because your name's already up there someplace and then it's KW Platinum, so you're good to go. Okay.
Stories. So a lot of us probably don't think of this, but should we be saving our stories because we're thinking that they disappear? You know how if you post a Facebook story taking a video or Instagram story, it disappears after 24 hours. Should we be saving that right then and there?
Does it really disappear?
No.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Somehow, some copy of it should be saved, maybe not the video itself. Most of the videos are gonna be on our phones, right? Because you know what, we did the video and we shot it and then we posted it. So it's there. I mean, how many go through their phone and delete everything that they?
Yeah, probably wish.
Not until you run out of space, right?
Exactly.
Then we go back and, well, for me, then my kids have like 75 videos of nothing. And so I can clear space there, but I have all of my videos that I've probably ever done, like anything I've done here. They're in my phone someplace, and so they're there. You may want to, you can kind of put them into files as well on your phone, so you just may want to do that, so it's just easy to go to and you can pop it open if you needed it.
I think my discrepancy came in on one of mine. I always put listing courtesy of KW, blah, blah. But I did a listing for another company, but I still put listing courtesy of KW. So that should I put the listing agent's company name? Or-
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Taylor can teach the class.
That's only one I tell you. It was like, I just thought about when he said, it. I was like, I don't think I put him.
Anytime it's outside in particular, yeah, and a lot of times the courtesy will be that you put the listing agent's name. You know, that's always kind of the thing that you, listing provided by Fathom, you know, Joe Smith. And so then that way, it gives them that credit. And some people, well, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, they'll reach directly to Joe Smith on it. They're gonna bypass you. But that's okay. I mean, you know, you're just trying to get your name and your face and things like that out there. And show them that you're doing things.
You're just doing a service to your audience. You're bringing that, you know.
Yeah.
This is what's available. It's a favor to them.
Yep.
So stationary, same requirements as far as independently owned and operated, brand name.
Not stationary? It's a good question,
What was the question? Sorry.
Stationary.
because I guess nobody uses stationary.
What about?
Start over here. Like, yeah, I'm not even gonna ask my question.
You can get the bottom and put it.
Like note cards, nobody uses note
Oh.
cards for name.
Oh, yeah, no cards, yeah.
Oh, y'all, stationary.
But say you're sending out the,
But you're sending out,
the golden letters,
yeah,
so.
golden letters technically should probably have that on there.
I do mine at the
Yeah, my
bottom.
other
I do
one,
mine
mine's
at
at
the
the
bottom.
bottom. Yeah, my other one's there.
I put it at the bottom.
Yeah. But if you're sending out like a note card, I don't think it, because if you're just saying thank you for something, you're not necessarily advertising. Yeah, but if you're sending out, yeah, golden letters, or if you're sending out postcards, they should have it on it. And I know like in Command again and Designs, that's always at the bottom of all their postcards already. And most of the other companies that you're gonna use, let's say it's Vistaprint or somebody like that, they usually will have that as, okay, you know, check this, or, you know, do you want to have this added in? And it's usually always there. They know what the requirements are, because what are you looking at Tim for? What did he do?
If I'm doing a note card that's like a birthday or something, I don't, but if I'm doing a business note card, I put in my business card.
Yes,
Thank you.
and that covers you as well, because if I'm sending out a note card, I always put 2 business cards in there,
Okay, so
even a
that,
thank you card.
that's your in lieu of, okay, perfect.
Yeah, then you're definitely covered, you know, for it, because your business card is in there. Do you have to have your face on your business card? No, you don't. I know a lot of people, everybody. You know, most people do, same thing on your sign. You don't have to have your face on your sign if you don't want it.
I saw that, I forget what page is on Facebook, but, there's a big debate whether you should put your face on your sign, especially for women. Because so many people look at the sign and they're like, ooh, she's pretty, let's go like stalk her. So I was reading up on that.
Cause there's a lot of weirdos out there.
Yes, I just had one, there's no one else.
I know, you did.
Yeah.
Me too.
You had a weirdo at an open house? He liked your curl or what?
He liked the fact that I was a motorcycle rider, yeah.
I've never been that lucky.
You know, I got a draw.
Yeah. So that's, again, that's something, the only thing that you need to have on there again is gonna be, would be the name of the company. The phone number needs to be there obviously as well. There needs to be a phone number someplace. But you don't need to have an email address, the minimum is really pretty much the minimum. Now, I will say that as far as marketing goes, you want to put on there as much information as you can. Whether it's your website, phone number, email, things along those lines. We're one of the few companies that, well, the older companies, I should say with a few anymore. The older companies, it was always the business's phone number. So it was Caldwell Banker in particular is one that, where it's their phone number on it, and then you had a rider that you put on it. And so we obviously want you to be upfront and have your email address, your website, so that you're capturing all the leads that they go there in particular. So, and that's all obviously legal. You can't use, make sure I get this right. You can't use Realtor, right? You can't use Realtor in your website. So don't put that in there.
The word, good.
Yes. You can do it in your email.
As long as you have the trademark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but you can't use it in the website. That's one place you can't use it. Yeah.
The one thing I got, an email for was that when I took a picture of the house to do a coming soon, my sign was actually in the picture, so you can't have any advertisement on a TMLS photo either.
Interesting.
Say that again.
You can't have, you can't have a picture of, you can't have any advertisement in a photo on TMLS, or they will send you a warning and a fine.
I called the commissioner one time because it was an agent who had in the pictures for the MLS her sign.
Yeah. So same thing.
And that what he just said, maybe it was his, I don't know.
And I think that would also go for like, if you're doing anything if you're doing a coming soon online, you can't have you could do the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
You can't advertise like your sign and that type of stuff. No. That's the other thing also is what can you advertise for coming soon? That's a great question. What can you advertise for coming soon?
I don't do them anymore since they said count towards days on the market, so I
Right.
just,
Yeah, we don't do that.
don't do it.
Can you advertise price?
Can you put the picture with friends on it? And the logo.
You can advertise when it's gonna be available, like showing start on this date. Can people, since we're talking about that, can people go look at the house if it's coming soon?
No.
What if they go and knock on the door and talk to the owner?
So you have a conversation with the homeowner and tell them what to say.
Yep.
Here's my agent's business card, call her.
Yep.
Call.
Can you as a real estate go and knock on the door and talk to the seller?
Nope.
Correct. They've got those things laid out pretty clearly in the TMLS, so if you're doing like the coming soon, and what's the other one that they have?
No showings?
No showings, yeah, they tell you pretty much what you can and can't do, just make sure you read it.
The not showing is what, 2 days, I think? How many days can you put?
How they changed that, when did they change that to?
I don't see it on there anymore.
Did they take it off now
Yeah.
finally? Because there for a while, you could do any days you wanted, and of course, people were taking advantage of that and use it as a pocket listing, and then they came back and they had said that, it was like a week for a while, then they said that you can only have it for no showings for X amount of time, or otherwise you gotta do.
Yeah.
What
Pull it
you call
out.
it, coming soon. It was a way for people to get around the days on market thing.
Right.
That's what it really came down to. But I think for no showings, you can't even, there's no pictures or anything though, right? Or was there? There was?
I think you can have pictures on that songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can't advertise it though. You can't market it with the no showings. You can't.
Right.
Coming soon you can, but no showings, there's no advertising and marketing. Yeah.
So go back to the Realtor thing a minute. Are you talking about all caps Realtor with the trademark symbol or?
You just can't use Realtor in like your website because the problem is that they feel that you're trying to take advantage of the Realtor name, which is actually trademarked by the NAR. And so that's why they don't want you to put that in there. So your name can't be, 1-800-Realtor. As an example, or best
Your
Realtor.
website name.
Yeah,
Yes, I know.
that's why it has to be Realty. You notice that everybody says Realty.
Realty.
Alexis Realty, it's not Alexis Realtors. Yeah, you can't advertise Realtor is what it really comes down to. They don't. They feel that'll be an unfair advantage.
Not this on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It ties into it. It's like you're paying attention to it.
That's, I said the same thing. I said, wait a minute. I said,
So you can't say you're a broker slash real.
Oh, I have to talk about.
You can't say you're a broker and a Realtor.
You can say a Realtor, but you gotta have the trademark up there as well.
Okay.
But you can't use it, you can't say that Brian Schrepp for Realtor.com.
Okay.
That's on the website,
You can't
but
use
what
it on the
about
website.
if you open up a page?
You can't say you are a realtor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a Facebook page?
Yeah, you can say that you're a Realtor, but you're supposed to have the trademark beside it. You just can't have it like in your website, like you can't be Diana Campos Realtor.com. Right? You can't do things along, no, they don't want that, out there. Now, here's, like we said, the crazy part is you can put it in your email address.
It's crazy.
And so and I'm sorry, I was a few minutes late, but, so when you're doing your Facebook post and you have it in the text, Keller Williams Platinum, and then you have 10 pictures, when you click on those other pictures, do you have to have a logo on each picture?
No,
Okay, that's your one click, right?
yes, it just needs to be up front. They want to be able to see it when the consumer, think about the consumer, that's what they're thinking about here. The consumer needs to see that this is basically a real estate ad. And that this is being done by a Realtor. All right, because you think about a FSBO, that's something different. They don't have to abide by the same rules that we do. And so they want to be able to basically quickly look at this and go, all right, Sylvia is with Keller Williams Platinum. They want to be able to look at that ad and be able to determine that right away.
But he's not saying to put the logo on the first picture.
No.
He's saying to just make sure you put it on the description.
Yeah.
that you're
Yes.
a realtor.
And if I take one of those pictures and share it to a story, then I need to put Keller Williams in text or somewhere on that story because it's a new post.
Yes,
It's not
Yeah.
part of that same post.
yes.
It's like starting out a little working.
Not charging. Are you finding one over there, Liliana? Did you find me an ad that is not proper? She on Amazon or what?
Okay, for credit.
It's pretty easy to find, I'll be honest, I mean, it's everywhere, unfortunately. And I don't want you to fall into that trap, because I do believe at some point in time, they did a while ago, probably like 5 years ago. They came in and they were pretty hard on everybody, and then they've kind of let it go. And it's really gotten bad. I mean, and that's why I posted the other day, because I was going through, and of course I've got realtors all over the place that are friends, and I'm like, for crying out loud. I mean, there was pictures and they had, the price was on there, and it was just their name, as part of their Facebook page, and there was nothing in there as to where the listing came from. There was no disclaimer or anything along those lines. And so it's like, yeah, these people are eventually gonna get into trouble. And I think that's one of the reasons why JCAR had sent that out. And I think the MLS, because it's an ethics violation, that's who is gonna be the one who starts coming down on everybody.
They need to figure out their stuff before they can come back to that MLS
Well, yeah,
situation.
triangle.
Mhm.
Is bad, but there's a reason why they're sending out the ethics thing with the actual, here it is, go read it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of, well, a lot is an exaggeration. I've seen quite a few Red Z questionable posts too, like agents posting stuff about numbers that to me look like a red flag to trigger a Red Z.
Like such as, you remember,
I can get you in this house for X down, but nothing else.
you gotta be really careful with that, because you gotta remember that you gotta start putting out like, APR percentages and things along those lines, and
Yeah.
and that's why you gotta have like the whole qualified buyers, all that type of stuff needs to go in there. So that's why you tend to stay away from those types of things. What the down payments are, because your down payment may be different than mine. On top of it, what product are you using? Are you using a conventional loan, or are you using a government loan? Is it a USDA compared to a VA? I mean, there's all sorts of things that go on with that. So we never want to get into like, I can get you into this home for $1,500, because that's not true. We don't know that.
Might be true for somebody.
It might be true for somebody, but not for everybody. And so when we're having that conversation, that's where even like fair housing comes into play, because like you said, it could be something that's fair, that's true to me, but not true to Diana, or vice versa. And then they're like, well, hey, that's discriminatory because you were advertising to a certain group. So you have to be careful. And that's the other thing too, be careful about when you are writing stuff. We don't, hey, close to a church, nope. You stay away from that. Great for families, nope, stay away from that. All those things that they talked about in advertising, we need to stay away from those types of things. We've even seen it where we've had the sight impaired people have actually done a lawsuit based upon what has been on a website.
Come and see this house.
Yes. Things along those lines, because now you're telling a predator that, hey, guess what?
Hmm.
We're right down the street from a daycare, things along those lines. We think that we know, but don't. Great for children, again, because familial status comes into play, with that also. Even like quiet neighborhood, those types of things. What does quiet mean? And then all of a sudden you sell the house and now you're in a lawsuit because, hey, this neighborhood isn't quiet enough. They told me it was a quiet neighborhood. Everything that you're doing, and I don't want to scare you, but everything that you're doing, you need to protect yourself in particular. But of course, there's rules and laws out there for all the other things. I mean, you can be descriptive with the house, don't get me wrong, but if it doesn't have to do anything with the house, don't talk about it. Everybody else can figure that out. Is this a great, and you're gonna get that question too, because most of you are new in here. You're gonna get that question. Is this neighborhood great for kids?
Not sure.
If you're, yeah,
We can't answer that question, right? Yeah. What I would suggest is that you come back another time and just maybe drive through the neighborhood, maybe come back here around the time that school gets out. You can give those types of things, but you can't tell them, oh yeah, I seen all the kids were driving, or, I was in here last week and there was 15 kids that were on the playground. You can't do that, right? The other one is this neighborhood, how's the crime in this neighborhood?
Here's a link.
Yep, here's a link. Or, just, here's the phone number to the local police department, call them.
I just like at least next down local police department.
And unfortunately, I've had had somebody ask me, well, who lives in this neighborhood? What do you mean by that?
I had people say, I'm not gonna sell the house to this type of people.
When I
And then
told
I
my-
said, I can't do that, so I'm gonna present the offers with no name on a spreadsheet. You choose based on the numbers and then we'll go.
And
I don't bring up color, but when I had owned my first house in my twenties, our agent told us the only color there is green. And that was his way. We're like, yeah, we don't care, it's just green.
I just stopped the car and I'm like,
Yeah, I don't use that now because you just have to be careful, but that he used that.
yeah, because I even did mine. I stopped the car and I'm like, are you working for the commission? And then they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, we can never, ever have that conversation. And that was the last time I actually had somebody in my car because I wanted to leave them at that point.
Absolutely.
I wanted to kick them out and unfortunately they're in. So we went to the house and thank God it was the last one. And well, actually there was more, but I was like, I'm taking you back to the car because I'm not working with you. And it was the husband who said it and the wife was pissed, of course, but it's like, yeah, I can't afford this. And so they will send people out. They have in the past. I know we're going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. The commission, especially doing open houses and things like that, they send people in. Or they will call you up to go show a home. And they'll ask you those types of questions when you're there to basically test to see, how you're gonna answer. So you always got to assume that whoever you're working with, that they work for the commission. And here's the thing, is that if you've got integrity and all those other things that go, it doesn't matter. It's not going to bother you because you're going to say no matter what. Or I can't talk about that. And I'm not going to talk about it. That's the last time I want to hear that. Don't be afraid to kick somebody out of your, well, that's why I said I don't drive anybody in my car anymore. Does anybody drive anybody in their car anymore?
No.
That's weird.
I don't know, that was 10 years ago, basically, at this point. We still put people in our car at times, so. Before COVID, we didn't put anybody in. And so again, that all applies to, again, going back to what you were talking about. Yeah, stay away from numbers, stay away from, interest rate percentages, things along those lines. I've seen some people advertising that as well. And, if you do a comparison, like, hey, this is a $300,000 house with a 8% interest rate. Here's a 6% house with a 5% interest rate. You can do that type of comparison, but again, I would definitely have the asterisk, going, make sure to talk to a mortgage professional to understand all the costs that are involved with it. Because of course, we don't know what their closing costs are going to be. We don't know what all the other things. We're just looking at strictly an interest and principal payment. That's it. But we don't know what the HOA is. We don't know what their insurance is going to cost. We don't know all those other costs. So, because we've talked about that with like Ryan and some of the other ones, and that's one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of people, even the mortgage folks, don't advertise that because they're held at such an even higher standard. And of course, their fines are millions of dollars as well, when it comes out. So.
Well, we can talk about the programs, like we.
Sure, you can talk about the interest rates.
This house, it's located into USD, or it could qualify for a USDA. program.
Yes, it could, yep.
Yeah, but the problem when you say that is that USDA is not just a house, that's an income-based program too. And so that's a problem too.
The USDA.
Yes,
USDA is an income-based.
depending on the area, so you have
It's
to put that,
area and an income-based program.
so you have to put that at the bottom,
Yeah. So I wouldn't touch that.
USDA.
income, that's why we have it on the other thing for the realtor, like this is the USDA loan, they can have that conversation with their people.
So then you won't even look at an FHA loan either? Because
No.
same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. USDA and FHA, they're not the same thing when it comes to income-based. FHA is quite different, basically.
But I
USDA
might
is
not
direct-
qualify for an FHA because whatever reason, then I only qualify for a convention.
Okay, but if you're not I'm almost on
Mhm.
37 years as an underwriter. If you're not qualified for FHA, it's not because it's usually because you might have maybe an old student loan or some collections something like that. But basically, it's quite different when it comes down to USDA, because USDA is strictly income based. Basically, their thing is that they get your, if something that's, you can't even have a second job that might pull out the income itself, basically. They're qualifying every little asset that's going, every deposit that's going into your account and thing. FHA is not looking at the deposit that's going in unless you got some extra monies going in that you might need to, but they're not worrying about that you made an extra $5,000 or something like that, as opposed to how USDA, so that's the problem with the GPA programs, but I wouldn't touch that itself.
Would you say something like, USDA, like just put the rules in there, maybe?
No, nothing. You let the lender take care of that, basically, because rules change. Everything self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we, for lack of a better term, just stay in our lane, right? We sell real estate, let somebody else sell mortgages.
Yeah.
And, I know we check it off on the listing thing and it's in the, what you wanna call it, when they look at the cut sheet, I always call it the cut sheet on the MLS, it's in there for the agents kind of to see, they understand it better than other people, but the, obviously that's on the buyer's agent to make sure that their buyer gets the opportunity for a USDA loan with their mortgage person. As a listing agent, we don't need to worry about that. Let them figure it out. And we can, you know, because the other thing too with FHA loans, there's limits on that too. When was the house listed? You know, there was a previous,
No lips.
right, it's a flip, it's that, you know, those things all come into play now too. And all of a sudden somebody comes in and they're like, oh, I can get an FHA loan at, you know, 7.5%. And then you go and put an offer in and it's like, oh, well, sorry, anti-flip here. And well, you told me that I could get in here underneath an FHA. Nope. I'm gonna leave that to the.
It's
to-
on the lender, basically, who does all programs and see what they qualify for.
Right.
But you have them already pre-qualified.
Any other questions or comments? What'd you find, Liliana? Find one yet? Not yet. And here's the thing, if you see one online that's one of ours, you know, let's just cover CYA, right? Let's just have a quick conversation with people. If you're not comfortable in doing that, let me know. Because we're just trying to make sure we keep everybody out of real estate jail is what it comes down to. And you know, like you had mentioned, you got the letter, right, Tim? I mean, they sent you a letter. It's not like they come out and beat you up with a, you know, baseball bat or anything.
It was an email.
It was an email, yeah, to let you know. And as long as you're not a habitual offender, I think they threaten you with a fine, right?
Yeah.
But they don't give you one. You know, so you know, we all make mistakes. You know, that's everything too. You know, we're in a hurry or whatever it is, and we might forget something. And that's gonna happen. And so if somebody just says, you know, hey Betsy, by the way, I was looking at I love your ad. And by the way, don't forget, you gotta give credit to whoever did the listing. You know, and it's like, oh yeah, shoot, I forgot that. You know, I forgot to put that in there. It's gonna happen and it's okay. But here's the other thing too, for the new agents, it's a great way to advertise and, you know, people giving the credit, a lot of times people are still gonna look at it like, oh, shoot, you know, Kat's she's got a listing. Or she's got a house or whatever it is. That's why doing open houses and things like that, where you're putting out that information, that's why it's important, because it's showing people that, hey, I'm working in real estate. They're not generally gonna read the fine print, right? It's only us that's looking for that and looking out for it. And there's a reason for it. I mean, it sometimes feels like everybody's got their hand in your pocket, and they do. But at the same time, for the commission, it's to protect the consumer. And for the MLS, it's just to make sure everybody's on the same level playing field. You know, that's all they're looking at, right? You gotta do this, everybody's gotta do it, right? Oh, here's a good one for advertising. I almost forgot this one. Can you advertise a contest? Let's say you want to do a contest. How can you make sure that that contest is legal?
Contest for what?
Send me a referral and I'll send you $50.
No.
Nope. All right, good. Can you put them in a drawing though?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? So you could do that, right? hey, do these 3 things and I'll put you into a drawing for, $500 gift certificate or whatever it is. You could do that. Can you, can you advertise something where it's like only for people who have used my services?
No, yes, for services, yes.
Actually, it's no, you gotta treat everybody the same. You can't have stipulations on it, is what it comes down to. You can put stipulations, you gotta do these 3 things, but you can't say the only person that can win is somebody who has used.
Oh, to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can have an event where.
yes,
But not to win.
Does that apply to region? Like, for example, obviously I'm from New Hampshire, so I have a lot of New Hampshire contacts too. So if I said this is open to North Carolina residents, is that a problem?
probably not, because North Carolina is only concerned with North Carolina.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is that you gotta treat everybody the same. That's really what they're looking for when it comes to that. And how, so just be careful with that. We see those a lot of times. Now, what if you do like, I've seen people put out there, guess the price. Closest one wins a lunch with me. Guess the price of the home. They post a picture of the home before they
Oh.
advertise it or before they,
I haven't seen that one, but I kind of like it.
I'm You're probably gonna be told no.
What about if you come to the open house, we'll give you, $10 gas card.
you'd have to give it away. You can't tell them to come and I'll give you $10.
Okay.
There's a $10 gas card giveaway.
Gas card giveaway.
Now, here's the thing, I'll tell you, if you do giveaways at the open house and you're doing that type of thing, it was amazing how anybody who came into my open house and they didn't have a real estate agent, they won.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Do you remember when we had the home parade of homes last year? We had a agent slash builder slash biggest one and wait for it. When you were going to the houses that he had listed, they were giving you the gas cards.
He's a builder, he's got a different,
Well, no, he's an agent, it's Jim Allen, so he's an agent.
I think you, how you doing? I think if you're giving it to everybody, that's something that you could possibly do. I don't know the whole details about it. I'd have to look into those details to see what they're saying with it. But it's one of those things that you can't, again, referrals, you can't do it, obviously, you can't ask for that. But there's other things that you can do to get people. The other thing is too, is like doing like what we call it a reverse 100, a reverse split 100. Is that, hey, on Friday from 9 to 5, whoever calls in and answers these 3 questions will be put into an Apple product giveaway. You can do those types of things because again, it doesn't matter who calls in, you're just gonna ask them the 3 questions that you're gonna ask them and then they're put in. But again, it has to be the same for everybody. Now, if somebody just calls in and you don't ask them the 3 questions and you put them in and then somebody finds out, then you could get in trouble for that.
Okay.
So those are the things that you gotta make sure that you're doing for it. That's a great way to get people to reach out to you.
Right.
Is to do those reverse, because then they're calling you, right? Advertise it and let them know that you're gonna do it. Molly, I guess, is the one, if you remember her, Molly DeMattis, that's how she does it. Yeah, that's her only form of real lead generation, is doing those things. And then obviously her sphere, then they go in and then they're part of her sphere. And so she doesn't care if it's somebody that's in her sphere or somebody from the outside. They're all, again, that's everybody, right? Everybody is welcome to participate.
3 questions, give your name, phone number, and email.
I think she always goes, address. Because I think her questions usually are, do you own your home? Are you looking to buy a home? And if you are looking to buy or sell, when would that be? And it's really quick, 3 or 4 questions is all she asks. And then that's part of it though too. I gotta have your name, email, phone number, address, and I'll put you into the drawing.
Good.
And it's like busy, she said, they don't, they got what, 4 or 5 people who all they do is answer phones all day long.
They'll do live videos and they've got all their employees.
Mm.
Live.
What am I missing, Tim? Anything else?
It's a lot of stuff.
You do this.
Good.
So they guess the price of the house is something you can do. We can eventually understand.
I'm actually asking because I don't know. I need to find out.
I mean, why would it?
I don't think it can be a coming soon or anything along those lines. So I think that's part of it. Because I think if it, could you do it as a coming soon?
Yeah, because you list the price on coming soon.
Do you? Well, that's what they're not
And as
doing.
long, I think as long as you do it as a drawing, so, enter it as a drawing, like guess the price. And correct answers enter into a drawing or something like that.
I don't think he does it as a drawing. That's the only thing.
I would, oh, that sounds like a thing for the 800.
Yeah, that's the other thing also, thank you for bringing that up, our North Carolina Association of Realtors, they have a hotline, everybody knows that, right?
Mhm.
And it's free, and, they are, attorneys, and what you do is you call them up, and, let's see here, I'm gonna give you the phone number so you have it as well, you should put it into your phone, but, don't be afraid to give them a call. And same thing goes for the commission. They're gonna ask, when you call the commission, they're gonna ask for your number, your real estate number. Now, that's just really for them to confirm that you're a real estate agent. And they're not keeping track or anything along those lines, but don't be afraid to call them and ask a question. Hey, is this okay to do? Is this not okay to do? They'll answer that question for you. And they do the same thing. You call up, you leave your number, name and number, and they'll call you back. And so if you can't get a hold of somebody here, because honestly, that's what I do a lot of times. I don't know the answers to them all. And so when people do give me a call, I just call up the commission, or I can even call both sometimes to see who can get back to me the fastest. And I can honestly say that the good news with that is that they give me the same answer. I haven't had it where one gave me one and the other one gave me another. But I would definitely have this number in. Let me see here.
I love playing Stump the BIC.
Yeah. North Carolina Realtors Hotline, 336-294-1415.
That was the North Carolina what?
Realtor Hotline. And I can't remember which attorney it is. You get one attorney that's like super talkative. He'll give you the answer and then he'll want to talk to you for 15 minutes. And then you've got the other guy who he wants to talk to you for 30 seconds. So depending upon which one answers, you've got them. And then the NC rep one's right on their homepage here. But what you want to call is regulatory affairs. And that number is 919-719-9180. And so this is the NC. This is just the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. There you're gonna get an answering machine, just leave it with it on the machine, they'll get right back to you. This one here, usually a person will answer and then you just give them all your information and then they'll have, they usually dependent upon what the issue is, they'll be like, oh, that's Sarah, she'll give you a call back, or that's Joe's, because they handle different parts of whatever the question is. And so they'll get you to the right attorney, and they're all attorneys too at the real estate commission that you're speaking to as well. And they'll give you a holler back. But yeah, don't be afraid to give them a call. They're, especially the North Carolina one, those guys they're super nice. I mean, they really.
So considering for, if we've got all the requirements that we talked about earlier for social media posts, is that considered approved by the BIC as far as you're concerned, or because of technically, you know?
Technically, I am supposed to approve all advertising
That's a lot.
by a PB. And so, yes, that's why if I see something, obviously I'm gonna give you a call and then we'll change it. But yeah, that's what we're here for. You know, because is it realistic? If we had 10 people, it would be, but you know, the amount of people that we have, no. But if you got a question though, that's the thing though. Don't ever think that you don't have to. If you want to send me a quick email or send me a text message, and I think you've done it, like, hey, is this good? Yes, it's good. You know, and then you're covered. You're covered, then we're all covered. You know, as far as that goes. If you got any questions about it, just always, you know, it's kind of like when in doubt, what? Disclose. It's the same thing here. When in doubt, just ask. You're always better off to ask than to guess. And that's like I said before, I can't guess. And so sometimes I think I know the answer and then I call up and it's like, oh, well, I wasn't right about that one. I'm glad I called. Because you're interpreting, right? There's the interpretation of the law, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't speak that legalese sometimes. And sometimes when I read it, and I think we've all done it, especially when we're taking the class, right? You're like, what does this say? Why can't you just tell me in English what this is? You know, and of course the commas matter and the semicolons matter and all those things. That's why sometimes it feels like it's contradictory. But when you talk to a lawyer, they're like, nope, this is what this means. And that's two separate statements. And you're like, well, why do you put them both in the same thing? Why did you just start another paragraph? But that's how they talk, right? So all those things matter in legalese, and I'll be honest, I did not pay attention in English class, and that's why I sell real estate. Any other questions?
How many listings do we have in the office right now?
Not enough. I think Taylor looked at one time. I think, what did you look on?
What?
How many listings we had
Oh, Paragon, like 28,
active, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Not including new construction, I took that out.
Yeah. So it's,
So we need more.
yeah, the whole industry needs more.
Right.
And I think what you're gonna find here, and I know that, you know, working with buyers is the easiest thing to do because they raise their hand, right? And they're out there going, hey, I wanna buy a home, and so it's easy for us to find them and go towards them, right? The problem's gonna be is that there's gonna be no inventory. And on top of it, we're already hearing about multiple bid situations, right? Tim, what'd you have over the weekend? Like 2, 3, 4?
We had 3, this is with just the PC people I'm working with, we had 3 offers written all over in multiples. So, and it's not the due diligence that got it, it's just the price point. So, you know, we're not seeing that. And this is always great conversations that we have on Friday morning. Mastermind, right? We go over this stuff.
So off-market listings is something that we need to get back to looking to. And so you mentioned the golden letter before, going and doing that. If you're gonna do an open house, going and knocking around that open house at this point, I think is really good. Inviting those neighbors into an open house to have a conversation with them. So that you can, because whoever shows up, if a neighbor shows up to an open house, they're interested. All right, I know that they might be the nosy neighbor or a looky-loo, but there's a reason why they're showing up. And it's usually to kind of judge what their house is compared to the other ones, right? And so that's where staying in touch with people. If we do have a home where we're doing an open house at, and we know that it's sold in multiple bids, then I will be calling the neighbors in that neighborhood or door knocking in the neighborhood. Hey, by the way, your house here, that they've got leftover buyers. Who do you know? You're not going to ask them directly, but who do you know that would be interested in buying? If you know that it's sold for over asking, sellers love to hear that, right? It doesn't matter if it was $1,000 or if it was $50,000. Hey, I can't tell you what it's sold for, but I can tell you that it's sold for over asking. All right, who do you know? Well, you know what, we might be interested. That's where you get the conversation going. Maybe they say, well, can you let me know, when can you tell me how much it's sold for? Well, not until it closes. You know, that's legally when we can tell you what that price is. All right, well, follow back up with me, right?
So can we say it's under contract for over asking?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the truth, right?
that is true, absolutely. Okay.
It's in due diligence period. And it went under,
I had one that during the height of the market, and I was very careful with that because I didn't know. But I sent out congratulations cards, congratulations on increasing your home equity. Those conversation. So next one.
That brings up the question, the difference between under contract and offer accepted. So if you're on the buyer side, right, it's offer accepted. If you're on the seller side, it's under contract when you advertise.
and if you're on the buy side, you can advertise that house as being,
On the buy side, under contract.
yes. Just got to get permission again from,
Wait, say that again? Say that again?
So if someone in your firm put one under contract, you can advertise that house being under contract. You just gotta do your credits.
yeah, well, for you, if you're on the buy side and you put it under contract, you can go back to that listing agent and go, hey, is it okay if I advertise this as being under contract? You know, because I think Mary Richardson, if you look at what she does a lot of that a lot of times. She can, and she also goes, and she also congratulates like the listing side, hey, looking forward to getting, you know, to the closing table with you, Mary Lou. And that way she's advertising for both of them, but it's again, evidence of success for you. You're now showing that, hey, I'm busy, I'm selling something. Because why should the listing agent get all the credit for selling that house? All right, so take advantage of that.
How about if, let's say that she has a listing, she goes under contract, we're on the same firm. I have nothing to do with this transaction, but I will say something like, congratulations to her, she got this client, she had a client under contract, picture of the house.
Sure, as long as you get, I would say get
Of course.
approval from her and then you give the credit. Because what you could say is, congratulations to Karina for getting this house under contract, which had multiple offers.
Right. But then you still have your advertisement, so that can help you to.
Yeah, market is hot, you know, market's picking up, you know, if you're interested in selling your home, reach out to me. And we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like the way he phrases that. If you're interested in selling, you didn't say selling and buying. Why? Because we're targeting sellers. We
Sellers.
want listings.
Mhm.
Yeah, talk to your sphere. That's the biggest one of all, is talk to your sphere, because that's where.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3.
My turn.
I've been keeping them warm.
Thank you. Okay, let me put this away.
Talking about the dog.
Yeah.
You need somebody to take.
You want to hold it? Yeah.
Any other questions before Becky comes up and teaches her class?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. If you got any questions, like I said, reach out. Here, I'll put my name and number up here again, make sure that's.
Repeat it, Becky.
Commissioner request.
Becky, do you know what, where you find the check there, Jackson signed yesterday?
It's in your mailbox. You had two mail folders. And we didn't realize it.
Because we got